everyone. Welcome back to Black Menace. I'm your host, Nisi Edwards, and on today's episode, we have my guest, Cassandra Hill. Cassandra Hill is certified as a holistic health practitioner and wellness coach. She is a firm believer that our life's lessons are designed for us to learn and teach others. She humbly confesses that no one should suffer from bad health. She has a master's degree in gerontology and a bachelor's degree in social work. After being diagnosed with systemic lupus and other autoimmune conditions in 2014, Cassandra, she gained the determination to overcome the illness in her body. So for today's show, we're going to be talking about immunity in your body. So welcome, Cassandra. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing well. So immunity in your body, for people who may not be familiar with that, can you explain a little bit of that for us, please?
Sure. Our immune system is designed to protect us. It's what's going to kick in when we do have any type of infection or virus, and it's designed to come to the rescue and save us. However, in order for it to do what it should, what it's designed to do, we have to give it what it needs. It's just like a car. We don't get in it without gasoline and expect to go somewhere. So we got to fill that immune system with the things it needs to be productive.
You're right. We'll be running off of fumes, and a car that's not going to run off of fumes, right?
Not too much long, and you'll find yourself pushing to the gas station.
You're not going anywhere. Ankle express. So your topic, immunity in your body, is really perfect for everything that we're talking about today in terms of Black Menace, survival steps to beat COVID-19 for African Americans. And so when you think about the coronavirus and our immune system, everything is compromised, especially if you are someone who has, two or more comorbidities. So you mentioned that you were diagnosed with systemic lupus and other autoimmune conditions in 2014. What was that like for you?
That experience changed my life. It was a battle. In addition to having systemic lupus, for those who may not be aware of that, it's an autoimmune condition. And any autoimmune condition, your body is attacking itself. With systemic lupus, it's widespread. So for me, it looked like it was attacking my respiratory system, as well as my joints, skin. Pretty much most of my body was being attacked with that, along with having a autoimmune blood disorder, antiphospholipid syndrome. So those two conditions really affected my immune health as well as digestive system. Just really challenging time for me.
I understand. And that's why this topic, immunity in your body, is very important, because in the African American community, many of us have one or more, two or more comorbidities, whether it is autoimmune conditions, diabetes, ankylosing spondylitis, fibromyalgia, sickle cell anemia, diabetes. Even if it's high blood pressure, hypertension, just so many different things. And as you mentioned, when you have an autoimmune condition, how it attacks your body. So just think about those, Cassandra, who may have COVID-19 and living with an autoimmune condition, how that can affect their body.
Yeah.
These are times we're living in.
Yes, it is. It's something that our nations never experienced anything like this. And this is really an important time right now for us to focus on our wellness. And it's not which part of it is the things we eat and drink, but it's so much more than that. I'll tell anyone, wellness is physical, emotional, spiritual. It's all interconnected. So it's really addressing all those aspects of your health to have overall wellness.
Yes. And I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, in 1819, when there was last a pandemic. And I think in 1819, it may have been some type of flu or something like that.
Mhm.
But that was, of course, way, way, way before either of our times. But now for this, what's happening here with the coronavirus, we've never, seen or faced anything like this in our lifetime.
No.
And the thing, I don't know about you, the thing that bothers me is this lack of social distancing. Oh my goodness, I've seen people who refuse to wear a mask. They just say, hey, this is a hoax. And I'm thinking, really? You think it's a hoax with all these people that have died globally? That's a hoax? That's pretty scary that people feel that way. Now, in terms of where you reside, what is it like in terms of, are you all still sheltered down? Has your state reopened?
We have reopened here. Um, the mall is actually open here. Um, some restaurants are opening. Um, the dining area, some are choosing to just keep the drive-through open. For me, my personal decision, I'm still sheltering in place. For most of us, as we mentioned previously, this is something that we've never experienced in this country. So for a lot of us, we've been in the house for so long, and so people are just so excited to get out that the social distancing has just went out the window.
True. And that's why it's so dangerous, because I understand people are tired of being sheltered down. But if we move too quickly and resume, being around large populations of people, that progress that we make can quickly diminish. And then we will be right back where
Mhm.
which is no fun for anyone. And then I feel for our brothers and sisters that are on the front line, or even those that may be working in some fast food places. So fast food places, they may not be open now, but you still can do carry out or curb pickup, or for those places that are still open. I even think about people in the grocery stores, people who are caregivers, because they're also exposed. And the reason why I created Cassandra Black Menace, Survival Steps for African Americans for COVID, is because I was very dismayed by everything I would see on the media. I just did not feel they were talking to us, because in many of our communities, we don't have access to testing supplies. And I just felt that they're talking, but I don't really feel that they were speaking to us, about our own health. Because I know many people have passed away, but a lot of Black and brown people, our numbers have drastically increased.
Yes. For many people of color, the underlying conditions, that's when you think of the healthcare disparities, more people of color have type 2 diabetes,
Yeah.
asthma, these underlying conditions that have not been properly managed. And so when you have that, in addition to something as serious as COVID-19, it doesn't make for a good combination. And like you said, access to testing, access to health care. Some people don't even have a doctor,
No.
period, so that makes it, unfortunately, to where more of us are dying from this condition.
Yes, very much so. For Cassandra, when President Obama was in office and he was really working to make healthcare affordable for all, perhaps it wasn't affordable for all. But the thing is, it gave you something that you may not have had access to before, that also in allowing your pre-existing conditions to be covered. So for many people who didn't like it and who opted not to sign up for it, as you mentioned, access to care, many of them don't have access to care because they have no insurance, none whatsoever.
And that I know for me personally, prior to my diagnosis with systemic lupus, my career, I was working as a gerontologist in the senior care industry. But of course, that was something I had to step back from because of the not only the condition, but just the side effects of the drugs I was taking. For most people in long-term care, you don't have insurance. And
Mhm.
and that's for me, even being in management. Yeah, most facilities don't offer that. So the Affordable Care Act really was a plus for me because when I did get diagnosed, it opened up the door to where I could receive treatment because most insurances, once you get a diagnosis like that, will know how to help you.
That's true. Even think
You know,
about life insurance, so many people don't even have life insurance. A lot of people have passed away. And so think about now when you um, say you want to have life insurance, they're going to be checking out your medical history with MIB, the Medical Information Bureau, and other sources to look at what type of medications you're on, to look at your diagnosis, to look to see when you were last hospitalized. And so it makes it even more difficult for people, and especially Black and brown people, especially if
yeah,
you don't have financial resources.
yeah, yeah. It's real challenging. And as you mentioned, the people on the direct lines, the frontline workers, it's really because you're doing a job that's essential. However, that job, the wages aren't sufficient. So you have these people who are working these type jobs and they don't have access to basic medical care and their wages aren't sufficient to where they could pay for it out of pocket.
That's true. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, if you have under a certain amount of employees, you don't have to offer it. But here's the thing, that's why we need to have an affordable wage in this country, because we have what I refer to as the haves and the have nots.
Yeah.
You're right. Many jobs, they don't even offer health care. They don't even offer benefits. They don't even offer sick time. So let's say, you get a cold. People say, oh, what's the big deal about a cold? Well, it could be a major thing. A cold can turn into flu. The flu can turn into pneumonia and beyond. And that one thing that people say, well, not all, but some people will say, what's the big deal? It's just a cold. You can be off of work with a really bad, nasty cold for a week or two. And if you don't get paid for sick time, a lot of people can't afford that. Why people, may come to work ill.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely happens. And what you think, well, why would you do that? But if I have a job that's paying minimum wage, I'm just getting by. I can't afford to miss a day of work.
True. And you have children with that as well, or a family, or you're the breadwinner in your family. Let's face it, people are going to do what they feel they have to do in
Yeah.
order to survive.
Yeah.
Yes. So, question for you, since we're talking about immunity in the body, what are some wellness tips that you can share with our audience that can help those that may be dealing with COVID-19 or their own autoimmune condition or may have a loved one? What would you recommend?
Sure. Keeping that body alkaline is really important to overall good health. So I would recommend drinking lots of water, alkaline water, if it's available. Um, you could test the water pH strips. You want water that's above 7 pH, keeping that body alkaline. Also, eating lots of fruits and vegetables is going to help alkalize that body as well. As a safety measure, plant-based antivirals. We forget about before the drugs hit the scene, we were using uh, plant plant-based medicine as a primary defense. Essential oils that act as antivirals. An antiviral is something that's going to stop the development or function of an infection. A couple essential oils that do act as antivirals: eucalyptus, tea tree oil, or oregano even act as antivirals. And oregano, another benefit of that is antibacterial as well. So simple. For those who do decide that they want to use essential oils, definitely make sure that they are pure essential oils on that label. The only ingredient should be the plant. If you see anything else, it's not an essential oil. It's something that is a fragrance, make your room smell good, but it's not an essential oil. So keep that in mind. If you do decide to apply it to your skin, and it's a pure essential oil, just remember to use a carrier oil, like a coconut or a jojoba, just to protect your skin and keep your skin glowing and looking nice.
Yes. And when you mentioned eucalyptus, tea tree, and oregano, the other one that I like to throw in there too is frankincense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the fragrances and tea tree. Those are, my all-time favorites.
Yeah, I like me some frankincense. I call it the Cadillac
Well,
of
it's more than
essentials.
a Cadillac. To me, it's like
Yeah,
Tesla.
yeah. It's good for so many things. Pain, skin,
Yeah,
wrinkles. It does help reduce fever. It's good for so many things.
yeah, it's one of the oils of, you know. I remember a few years ago, we had a German Shepherd. It was a rescue shepherd, and one day he just attacked me and he bit me on my right arm, and he drew a little blood, and that wasn't a sore that just did not want to heal, a wound that just did not want to heal. I tried a lot of different things, wouldn't heal. So what I had to do was I used frankincense with a carrier oil
Mm-hmm.
to put on the wound, because I figured, hey, I've tried everything else, nothing's working. I'm going to try this frankincense. And a few days later, it started to heal. And I was scared because I'm diabetic. And so think about animal bites, infection getting into your bloodstream, how deadly that can be.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned alkaline water. So for those that may not be familiar with alkaline water, correct me if I'm wrong, or you may want to add more to this. With alkaline water, I've heard many things that when you drink alkaline water, it helps your body to keep from being diseased.
Yes. Yes. Um, for me, I'm blessed to be in remission. This is actually year 4 for me being in remission from systemic lupus. The alkaline water is one of the first things that, along with essential oils, detoxing my body. But our bodies being alkaline, they're designed to be alkaline. The acid, and just think back to when you were in school and you had that science fair project and you may have did a little volcano, and when you wanted it to erupt, you added an acid, you added some kind of soda, got the little eruption, but then when it was time to stop, you added a base, alkaline.
Mm-hmm.
So it's our body is similar in that nature. We put a lot of, especially if you're drinking soda, if you're eating a lot of meat, you're putting a lot of acid in your body when it's really designed to be more alkaline. And so the water
Mm-hmm.
is going to help with that. Um, even now, for the most part, alkaline water is readily available. I typically drink Core Hydration or Life Water. Those are two that I have tested and can say I know they're alkaline. There are other brands out there. Like I said, the pH strips, you can get them on Amazon and just test and
True.
just make sure that you have that pH over 7.
Just wanted a little bit of disclaimer when I mentioned about disease in the body without alkaline water. I'm not a doctor or a nurse, but the reason why I stated that is because I was treating one time with a functional medicine doctor. And the one thing that I learned from him was that, there are benefits in drinking alkaline water. It's good and healthy for the bottle. I mean, for the body. And I it's every month, at the health food store. And then eventually, probably 3 months ago, I just switched to regular water delivery, high quality water, because due to this virus, it's kind of hard to keep going to the health food store. I want to focus on social distancing. So I just buy what I can when I'm there, and in the interim, I just have the water delivery that comes to the home, because that's better than tap water, because some that people live, Michigan and other places, there may be lead in the water. So, and that's a whole nother issue. So you mentioned, okay, eucalyptus, tea tree, oregano, and to use a carrier oil, which is very important, because if you don't, you may have a little bit of a skin irritation. And you're right to look at that label. I've seen, the stores, they have so many different essential oils. But when you read that label, you see all kinds of stuff. It's synthetic, so you need to know what you're getting.
Yeah. Yeah. Generally, what you're going to find at a general store isn't an essential oil.
Right.
It's just not. And I really hate that they advertise it like that, but it's not essential oil. As I mentioned, essential oils, they're cold pressed or distilled from a plant. That's what an essential oil is. It is either from the stem of the plant or the bark or some part of the plant, but it doesn't have any fillers or anything else. That's what makes it essential, because in the plant, that's what protects the plant, from illness and just able to metabolize the things a plant needs to do to function at its best. Essential oils can do the same thing in our body.
That's true. And the other oil I mentioned that I like is lavender.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sleep like a baby with that.
Don't you know what I've done? Even some days when I feel like I'm fighting off a cold or the flu or something. I remember once I had a really bad upper respiratory infection, and I just had a hard time getting rid of it. Of course, I couldn't sleep because I would cough all the time. And I was in a place where I was volunteering working with children. And when you work with kids, so kids typically get sick all the time, many of them. So I had a couple of them one day, they just, came up to me and they coughed in my face. And I got, an upper respiratory infection, and I had difficulty sleeping. So what I did was I started applying lavender to my pillowcase. And I found this pillow spray with nothing but just lavender in it. And I would just, lightly mist my pillowcase, and that helped me to sleep.
Yeah.
And they even have lavender and tea products too. So, that works well as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I do that sometimes just to help me relax and unwind, especially after a long day. Lavender or even yang yang too. And if you combine those two together, don't drive, because they are sedatives and you will be knocked out.
Yes. And to get those roller balls where you can make your own, where you can combine them as long as you know what you're doing and where you can combine them. It stay at home to see how it best works for you. Now, other question I want to ask you is, I know that you have your own business, Holistic Living Consulting LLC, which guides women on their journey to health and happiness. So can you tell us about that?
Sure. My business, Holistic Living Consulting, we offer virtual wellness coaching. We have one-on-one sessions where we talk, you get assessed, and we come up with a game plan for you to start your wellness journey on your own. And I also have a coaching program that's called Reverse Your Health, and that's where I walk with you and we get you on the other side to good health. And basically in the Reverse Your Health program, it lasts a month. You receive 4 coaching sessions within that month. I'm also available for daily support as well, just helping you stay on track to achieve wellness. Another bonus with the Reverse Your Health program, you receive resources. You'll get my book that's available right now on Amazon, Holistic Healing, Common Herbs and Essential Oils to Improve Your Health. I gift you that. And you'll also receive the 30-day detox and renew. And it'll help you after the month as you continue your journey, how to detox your body, because that's really important that we rid our bodies of the toxins that's in it. Another thing you'll receive is yoga using essential oils. Yoga, there's so much research out there on how it reduces inflammation, lowers blood pressure, combining it with the essential oils. As I mentioned, essential oils, mankind's first medicine. So you'll receive instructions on how to incorporate those two safely. And so lots of information there. And both, whether you choose to do the one-on-one session and go on with your health or the Reverse Your Health program, another thing that's included for both groups is my recipe ebook, and it's full of tasty, healthy meal ideas. So when you sign up, just going to my website and signing up to receive the newsletter, you'll receive that free of charge. So my goal is really to help women understand that being proactive, you can alleviate or reverse dis-ease in your body, as well as for those who just looking to get that game plan in gear before a major illness happens as well.
Okay. The recipe. Can you just give us, for now, with many people, being sheltered down, except for those that in places where the community has reopened, can you share with us like maybe one recipe from your guide?
Sure. This is something real simple, easy breezy. Because I know for a lot of us, you're at home, and for those with kids, it's like, okay, I'm working from home, and then I have these kids here. I need to cook something, and I need for it to be simple. So here's something that's simple. Believe it or not, you can have pasta that's good without the carbs. And
okay.
So what you can do is get some zucchini squash, spiral it, cook it just like you would spaghetti, add your onions, bell pepper. And what I do to make it easy for myself, I just get those frozen, combined together, add, saute your onions, peppers, all that, combine it into the spaghetti, and there you go.
Yeah. And it's
With
plant-based and
another
healthy.
side, with
Yeah.
another side dish, you have a meal cooked in less than 30 minutes.
I like that. That is easy breezy. And I've now been eating more squash than I ever have before. I have one of those ninja foodies that some friends blessed me with as a gift last year. And with that ninja foodie, I've been experimenting with acorn squash, butternut squash. And what I like to do with this, since you mentioned the squash, is I cut it open and I sprinkle lightly a little bit of cinnamon with it, and I put it under the broiler. And for me, that's good eating.
Oh, that sounds so good. I hadn't tried it like that. I bet that
Yeah,
is good. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
there's so much you could do with squash. You could even make lasagna
Yes,
out
yes.
of out of the squash. There's so many ways you can get creative with that, and it's something that's not really expensive. It's a fairly low cost meal as well.
True. Or I've even seen cut up pieces of squash in the frozen food section. So where they have just the plain vegetables, they have the bags of the plain squash. And I've even now I purchased that times for my smoothies. So that if I want to just have a quick, like you say, easy breezy meal, I may
Yeah.
do a smoothie where I get some of those chunks of squash, put it in there because I want more of a plant-based smoothie versus a smoothie you have a lot of milk and other ingredients that may not necessarily be healthy for you, because I'm lactose intolerant, so I prefer non-milk products, non-dairy products. So that may be almond milk, hemp milk, things like that.
Yeah.
And use like a lot of spinach and different things, because I love spinach. I love spinach,
Mhm.
garlic, and
Yeah.
onions.
Yeah.
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 Your recipes, that those sound really good. And I did visit your website and downloaded that ebook, and there are some wonderful recipes in there.
I'm happy you're enjoying it. I'm actually working on another one because it's a lot of people are interested. Like you mentioned, they're at home. It's like, okay, let me get this and get some ideas for some things I can cook that are tasty and healthy at the same time. I know for
True.
most people, we think that living healthy is going to be just like the worst thing ever, but that's the biggest myth. There's so many healthy dishes that you can cook that you won't miss the junk.
True.
You
Since
really won't.
this coronavirus and we've been sheltered down at home, I mean, I love to cook and bake. So I cook all the time. But now I'm cooking even way more, than before. And
Yeah,
so I'm getting
yeah,
creative with it. And now I'm saying, you know what? Let me try this. Let me try that. So if I go to the grocery store, Cassandra, I'm buying different ingredients. So I bought
yeah.
some lemongrass the other day. And what I've started to do, when you were talking about using the essential oils and different things, so what I was doing with the lemongrass, I had a sore throat. I had some tea, and I added pieces of lemongrass into my tea. And I made another dish with chicken, and I added a little bit of lemongrass. I've been experimenting with it. Ingredients that I've never tried before. I'll Google it, I'll look it up,
Yeah.
to get an idea. And that's what healthy cooking is about, right? And
Yeah.
introducing new healthy ingredients. And so when you mentioned about immune, I have one myself. So that's healthy for me, a healthy way of eating versus junk food, because that's where you're getting a lot of your toxins from.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
From the things we eat as well as the things we put on our bodies, just really paying attention. And I know for some natural products, as far as skincare, some of it can get a little pricey. Um, but just the steps you can take, doing your best to not put things in your body or in your skin, because when you're putting it in your skin is the biggest body part you have. So it's getting in that bloodstream. So just really being as proactive as we can. No one's perfect. We're gonna, there's gonna be days you want to go and enjoy the molten chocolate cake, and things in moderation are okay, but it's about a lifestyle change.
It is.
You're not doing this every single day.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I thank you so much for joining me today on Black Menace. I've learned a lot from you. I love that cookbook. I would love to see you in the kitchen on YouTube videos, making some of those healthy, delicious recipes from your book. I'm your biggest fan because I love that recipe book.
You gave me an idea, because I was thinking about doing it with smoothies, because I have a lot of smoothie recipes. So I just may do that.
And the reason why it's important is because based upon the work you do, I'm sure you've heard this all the time. I have people say, well, I don't know how to cook. I don't know how to do this. So Easy Breezy should be the name of your channel with these wellness tips.
Okay, I'm gonna have to coin that one.
Yeah, I was one of those kids growing up that always watched my mother and my grandmother in the kitchen cooking and baking. So I just fell in love with it. But I would love to see you do that. And when you do, tag me.
I sure will. I will be sure to do that. And I thank you so much for this invitation to share about immunity with our community. And if I can support anyone on their journey, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to support you. I offer free discovery sessions. We 15 minutes, have a conversation, and just talk about your challenges. So cost, if you can't afford a hour session or the program, that discovery session takes the cost out the equation. So
Okay, and give everyone your website URL they can find you online.
Sure, my website is CassandraRhill.com. That's Cassandra, CassandраRhill.com. That's where you can sign up to get the free recipe ebook that Nisi has talked about with the good meal ideas. You'll also find links to my social media there, where you can follow me and get wellness tips to help you have that health and happiness that you deserve.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.